Hello and welcome to Crypto News. Today is August 20th, 2025, and the top crypto news is as follows. Let's start our episode today with Wyoming, which has launched its own stablecoin, as we already knew. So now it introduces us to its own stablecoin, which is a fully secure digital token backed by short-term US Treasury bills and the US dollar. Specifically, we will find it on the Ethereum, Solana, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Polygon, Optimism, and Base networks. However, due to official regulatory hurdles, the token is not yet available to the public. It will be in the future, as you understand. Otherwise, what would be the point of having this stablecoin? Moving on, we will also go to our ETFs. With full data as of August 19th, Bitcoin spot ETFs have outflows of $523 million, and Ethereum ETFs are showing a similar picture, with $422 million in outflows on August 19th. For Ethereum ETFs, one more piece of news is that they now own more than 5% of all Ethereum in the market right now. Continuing with an institutional perspective, we'll go to Google, which mines Bitcoin. Google now owns 14% of a Bitcoin mining company. Specifically, TeraWulf revealed that it signed a 10-year co-location lease agreement with Fluidstack. Google is backing the lease obligations through a financial guarantee known as a backstop and is receiving stock purchase warrants in return. So that deal is now worth $3.2 billion. And so Google owns 14%. The majority of it in this Bitcoin mining company. And now Mr. Trump is also mining Dogecoin. Thumzup Media, a cryptocurrency management company funded by the Trump family, is planning to acquire Dogehash, a Dogecoin mining company. The mining company will be renamed DagoHash Technologies Holdings and will trade on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. So Mr. Trump is mining Dogecoin. Moving on to our institutions, we'll go to a bank, and that bank is SOFI. It's the first US bank to use Bitcoin and the universal money address, allowing Americans, Mexicans, and others around the world to send money via the Lightning Network. As a result, people can make much cheaper money transfers for now, without having to pay the fees of traditional banks. For example, a transfer between the US and Mexico can cost between 20% and 30% of the money being sent in some cases. Moving on to our stocks, let me tell you that ARK Invest bought $21 million in bullish shares and $16 million in Robinhood shares. Why? Because with Bitcoin falling to $113,000, all crypto stocks have declined. For example, Strategy is down to a 4-month low. Ms. Cathie Wood probably sees the lows and is buying. Continuing, we will also return to Mr. Bo Hines. We had seen in previous episodes of Crypto News that this gentleman left Mr. Trump's team, which was dealing with crypto. He was one of the people who had been very helpful with the Genius Bill, which concerned stablecoins in the crypto market. At that time, we learned that he left this team to go into the private sector. However, he didn't stray too far from cryptocurrencies, as he is now the strategic advisor to Tether, which must have paid him a lot to bring him to its team. And from this man, we return to our cryptocurrencies. But we don't leave the institutional world too far, as we go to Polkadot, which is entering Wall Street. Specifically, Polkadot has launched a capital markets division aiming to bridge traditional finance and the blockchain ecosystem. This underscores the network's effort to attract institutions because they see that there is interest. That's how they introduced us to Polkadot Capital Group. The goal of this entity is to connect traditional finance with Polkadot's infrastructure in particular, helping institutions explore the ecosystem and enter Polkadot. And of course, it targets banks, venture capital, financial institutions, and any company in the traditional sector. As we know from Crypto News, there is a lot of institutional interest in cryptocurrencies. Polkadot has probably realized this too. That's why it created a specific entity to bring people to its chain. And let's say we see this interest in our next news as we learn that Skybridge Capital will tokenize some of its hedge funds on Avalanche. These hedge funds are worth $300 million. Specifically, Skybridge Capital, the investment management company of Mr. Anthony Scaramucci, plans to turn its hedge funds worth $300 million into tokens on Avalanche. We're talking about the Digital Macro Master Fund and the Legion Strategies Fund, which will become tokens thanks to the collaboration of the tokenization provider called Tokeny and the financial company called Apex Group. One detail here is that Tokeny was acquired by Apex Group this year. That's why they collaborated. We've also told Crypto News that Avalanche is a very good blockchain for anyone who wants to tokenize. It's very targeted at this point. Moving on, we'll get to our latest news for today. In very simple terms, MetaMask now supports the Tron network. So anyone who wants to use MetaMask for Tron can do so now. And it's time to go to our favorite markets. Bitcoin has been set at $113 million and has once again lost our support. However, today we also have the first Fed speeches, so we can't wait to hear some important statement, or they may not say anything, to be honest. That wraps up the top news for crypto today is August 20th, 2025. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care everyone and have a good day.